Anita Jones.
I'll start with the economic benefits of staying in the EU. Being in the EU means that the UK is part of the world's largest single market. The single market of 500 million people provides a level playing field for British businesses to trade in. This enables free trade, as there are no custom duties or tariffs.
Hang on. In 2010, the UK trade deficit with the EU was £52 billion.
That may be a disadvantage, but let's not forget that 3.5 million jobs in Britain are linked to the UK's trade with other member states. Moving on to individual benefits, membership of the EU gives all UK citizens the right to live, study, work and have their pension paid in any EU nation. EU membership also means that we have safer food and cleaner beaches.
But individual advantages are surely overshadowed by the fact that Taxpayers Alliance estimates that the EU costs each person in the UK £2,000 a year.
And the effect of the Common Agriculture Policy is to raise the cost of food by £17 billion per year because of farming, which means that each UK citizen will have to pay £1,200 a year.
But surely it's better to have better animal protection, which we can get through the EU.
Valid point.
The UK has considerable influence in the EU. It can project serious military force, so therefore it has a permanent seat on the UN Security Council. Leaving the EU would not only weaken the EU itself, but could potentially weaken the UK's global influence, as we are less likely to have our voice heard outside of the EU.
But if we left the EU, there could be more freedom of Westminster Parliament, as over 60% of UK laws originate from the EU.
Yes, and also the estimated cost to the UK business of going along with the EU regulations within the single market is £28 billion per year.
That's a lot.
Okay,
That's a lot.
so there may be some economic issues to do with the costs for regulations, but we can't deny that it is democratic. There is an elected European Parliament made up of ministers of member states, so essentially reflects the British cabinet, but on a larger scale. We have an unelected head of state and an elected House of Lords, so our level of democracy is actually below that of other member states.
That's a very good point. However, you've cleverly left out the fact that Switzerland is still benefiting from the free market outside the EU.
They receive free movement of goods, services, labour and capital, which are the benefits of the free market.
Exactly.
Not to mention that they actually export more per head to the EU than the UK do.
Yeah, that might be so. But if you are outside the EU, in order to trade freely, you have to pay to administer and police the single market, and you have no say in the important decisions about how it works. Switzerland won't have such a problem with a problem that the UK would have, because they have natural resources like gold that they can use for trade.
Actually, that is true.
Good point.
So really, that is why I think we should stay in the EU.
It's a really tough decision. There are valid points on both sides.
Okay, it's time to make a decision. I'm out.
I'm in.
I'm out.
I'm in.
Thank you for your time, but does that mean that we're in or out of the EU?
I guess we'll have to leave that to a referendum.